Here at Gardening Australia, we search the length and breadth of this magnificent country to find gardening stories of every shape and kind. But sometimes the stories find their way to us, and this is one of those. When a creative lady showed us some images of her wonderful creations, we knew that there was a story in it. And here we go. Take a look.
On arriving to Australia from Denmark back in '62 as a backpacker, I fell in love with the place because it's so unique and different to Northern Europe. Let's see what we can find. You see any good ones, you can pick them up and put them in the bag. And time again, I was introduced to nature. And I think there was something special about the Australian nature, the plants, the trees that I really fell in love with. Oh, that's a really good one. And from there on, I just started picking up seed pods. And they grew by the bag, you know, more and more seed pods. Could I do something with them? You can reach it. One thing, you know, at night, every night, 12 o'clock, it all becomes alive. Oh, I tell you. Oh, God, what a place. My name is Rita Moller, and I live in a place called Maramba Downs, north of Brisbane. I really want to show you the seed pods I have collected over the last few months. These are the black bean seed pods, and look at the variety and the sizes, the different sizes. But I just find the variety so compelling. You have to make things out of them. And even the patterns and the colors on some of them differ. So they're one of my favorites. The seed pods tell me what they want to become. This is from a poinsettia tree, for instance, and I think everybody would recognize it as a whale shark, one of the biggest creatures in the sea. You should be able to recognize the banksia, one of the most popular flowers of Australia. You just cut the head off and position it differently, and then you glue on the other things that you might need. And the boys and I tend to call them meerkats. This again is the lovely banksia seed. And why they're so good is because they're full of possibilities of sticking in limbs and doing whatever to them. And then the faces, the heads, are all come from jacaranda seeds. We lived opposite one of the primary schools, and my 3 boys went there, and I was allowed to show different display at school, and it just became a habit. This is a beehive that is important in the sense that bees are so important to us all. They do a very wonderful job in nature. And when you take it out, and before the children place their bees onto here, we have a look to see what happens within. So you have the different stages from eggs to pupa, and then they finally become bees. So in the middle here you have a dancing bee, and the others are watching, and they get a course, where should we go for really good blossom? I have reached 5,500 pieces that has been given away over quite a number of years, just for the fun of it. And I can't believe you reached that much. My pleasure is seeing kids, my own grandchildren, for instance, have fun with the pieces sometime. And when a person visits just to have a look, there's always a smile on their face straight away. And I think that is pleasure and thanks in itself. Because you are quite you stand over there and see if it's really spelled. Yeah. Is it spelled your name? Nowadays, kids really need to do something with their own hands instead of watching iPads all the time. So getting kids involved to get out in nature, look around, pick up what they can find and make something out of it. Use their own fantasy, have fun. We're all looking for something special to give. And I think a lot of kids would enjoy to make up their little presents to give mom and dad, grandparents or whatever. Go out in the bush or anywhere in the park and see what you can find. You can always find something. There's so much to be happy about in nature.
Isn't she just amazing? Now, Maggie, what's your favourite animal?
Dinosaur.
Dinosaurs. Wow, I wonder if there's any around here. But look, I heard that you're a bit of a fan of bugs. And Rita made this especially for you.
Ooh,
What do you reckon?
nice.
And what do you think? Is it time for us to finish off our awesome habitat planting?
Yep. Let's get gardening.
There's the door. Come on.
As well as offering some habitat for Maggie and her mates, this shelter has actually been designed as a climbing frame for native species, which will provide shade and shelter. Around it, we're planting a mixture of flowers and edible species to ensure pollen, nectar and colour all year round.
I don't like tags on plants. They hurt the trees.
I agree.
They have it at daycare.
We can tip that out later.
Hey, don't tell anyone. I've almost got the slippery dip done.
Slides in here.
Watch this.
Deep we need to be. We can see. Is that going to be deep enough?
Mine is the one here.
Let's have a look from back there, Maggie, and make sure it's in the right